Our daughter is Emma Keykens, and she was a freshman this year. She'll be a sophomore, of course, next year. My name is Victor, and my wife Sheila. We've been married for 23 years. Did I get that right?
23.
Could be 23. Sheila's lived in Shelby County all her life. I am a import. I grew up around Logan County, but have lived here since we've been married. We attend Valley Church in Piqua. What else?
Emma came from a homeschool background when she transitioned into Lehman. So the last 4 years we homeschooled, and prior to that she attended Houston School District.
Okay, good. What about the Keykens?
Well, first of all, I think it was important to us that Emma's spiritual walk with Christ was developed and fed, able to grow, because when we pulled her out of the public school system and we invested for 4 years then homeschooling, we used a Christ-centered educational curriculum at that time, and it was very important to us that she had the ability to continue to grow in her walk with Christ. And academically, you can pour everything you want into a child academically, but we felt very strongly in the end that she maintained her relationship with Christ. So being in a position where that was allowed, she was able to embrace that and grow with it, and we've seen wonderful things. Our family's not Catholic. We weren't terribly concerned about that. We were more concerned that overall relationship with Christ. And being at Lehman, we have seen her, she's been reading her Bible more than she ever has. She loves more questions. Yeah, she asks lots of questions. She loves Mr. Cordonier, and he's really good about helping her understand, different things that she's been reading and such. And I think too, the Damascus trip that the kids went on, the freshman kids went in December, that was Emma's first time staying away from home. So, she was very nervous about it, but I think
she did great.
She did. When we picked her up, it was like, I miss you. I want to go back. So that spoke volumes to us. And that coupled with, obviously the academic portion of it was very important to us. She's had an interest to go into the medical field. And we know, when people take note, when you say you attend Lehman or you're a graduate of Lehman, that has already, I think the perception is out there that Lehman has standards. Their curriculum is above the bar. And that was very important to us, that she's put in a position where she has lots of opportunities and they challenge her and to reach her fullest potential, but yet they're there to help her if she needs it. And we just can't say enough good about Lehman. It's been a huge blessing to her, our family, and we're just glad God opened those doors for us.
Sure. And then Keykens, I know you guys also had a unique story where you started off in public school and then moved to homeschool and then to Lehman. Talk a little bit more about your experience and what was going on in the public school that made you make the transition, and then why you started to look at Lehman for high school.
Some of the actual curriculum that was coming into the classroom in 3rd and 4th grade, that really, we had talked about homeschooling ever since we were pregnant, actually, and we just, for whatever reason, we did not bite the bullet. And then as all of this was happening in the public educational system, and then I think the icing on the cake was in 4th grade, I think the 6th week of school, the teacher told Emma, do not ask any more questions in this classroom for the remainder of the year. So at that point we were done. We had decided that it's time to pull her out, because if you're going to tell a child in 4th grade to stop learning and stop asking questions, stop being curious, quite frankly, we felt that was going to be a dead-end street. Yeah. So we chose a homeschool curriculum and did that in a community, if you will. We were part of a community group. It was a classical education and Christ-centered curriculum, and it did very well for us. And quite frankly, we had intentions of potentially going ahead and homeschooling in high school as I was entering it, looking at her freshman classes and what our options were. We attended the open house at Lehman because Lehman opened up the a la carte classes to homeschool families, which we had reached out to a couple of the adjoining school districts here, our home school district and an adjoining homeschool district, neither of which would entertain the idea of doing a la carte classes for homeschool families. So we came to Lehman's open house in February of 2019, and we went in with the intention we were going to look at math and science, and we would do the rest of the classes at home. And while we were there, Emma was she just lit up when she walked into the lab where the anatomical skeleton was. I mean, her eyes were like a kid in the candy store. So, and there were other classes that she showed an interest in. And when we left there, she had all these classes she wanted to take, and we're like, this is going to be a full-time student status. You know, we can't do this. But anyway, so that's kind of what led us to Lehman. And honestly, we had pretty much surmised that, okay, the tuition was going to be out of our grasp. And we looked at open enrolling her into an adjoining school district, and we got a phone call, I think in first week in June, from Lehman's staff, and it was, all I can say is God opened doors. He was working behind the scenes, and Emma was actually a little reluctant because when we told her that, hey, Lehman called, we're going to go back in and meet with them, and she's like, what are you doing? So anyway, Victor and I came in and met with Mr. Ader and Mrs. Stauffer, and she's like, no, don't go in there and do anything stupid, okay? So when we came home and told her, guess what? You're going to be a Cavalier. She was like, you did what? But you know what? I tell you, I think by the third to fourth day, fifth day of school, maybe she came out bouncing out of the school and wasn't even buckled into the vehicle. And she was just lit up like a light bulb. And she's like, Mom, I'm where God wants me to be. And if you would tell her that she wasn't going to be able to come back to Lehman, it would just break her heart. She loves it, loves it, loves it. And she's like, there's nowhere else I'd want to be. So I have to say, the perception prior to going there, Josh, was we were skeptical. To be very honest, we had reservations about it. And I think when Emma came to the open house, we came based on, we felt like we didn't have any other options. So, and again, once Emma got there and we saw and had interaction personally, you know, with some of the teachers and the staff, you know, even the gals, when you walk in the front door, you know, Mrs. Holler and Mrs. Anthony, Mrs. Coverman, I mean, everybody that we've encountered at Lehman has just been outstanding. So from perception to reality, I'm glad, I cannot express how thankful we are that we took a chance. It's been a great experience for Emma and for our family.